Okej, siemano. Mam nadzieję, że mnie słychać? Tak, słychać. I jeżeli to, co dzieje się na YouTubie jest za głośno, proszę powiedzcie. Ale zarąbiście, nie mogę się doczekać. Zobaczenia, kurde, tego. Zobaczenia Walhali. Ale też tam jest kilka fajnych gierek. Bo jeszcze Watch Dogs Legions, tak? Widzę, że tam jeszcze jakieś inne gry będą pokazywane, więc się zapowiada zarąbista impreza. Na razie ich wyciszymy. Czy może nie? Albo nie, zostawię, niech sobie gadają w tle. Mam nadzieję, że ich niezbyt głośno słychać, bo ściszyłem. No. To nie kurde grają. Trackmania. A to było chyba za darmo, nie? Jest dostępne. Ta giereczka. A czemu miałbym się nienormalnie zalogować do konta? Tak, ja się zalogowałem bez problemu. A czemu jest problem? Co, ludzie się nie mogą logować? Hmm. A, do konta Ubi. A nie, do konta Ubi się nie logowałem. Dobra. Sorry za kolor koszulki, no niestety będę tak migotał. No przeciążenie serwerów mają. Tomek, normalna sprawa, no kurde. Wszyscy teraz wbijają zapisują te kody, albo je nawet wbijają, nie wiem, bo teraz te kody jeszcze rozdają, to już w ogóle. Dobra, mamy pół godziny do rozpoczęcia eventu. No ja wiem. No taki... Tak niestety wyszło. Ty, a czemu ja mam tu Eli? Nie zmieniłem sobie tego. Ła. Ło.
Thank you, Chris, and hello everyone, and welcome to the Ubisoft Forward pre-show. The main event will be starting in just 30 minutes and will feature news from our unreleased games, including Watch Dogs Legion, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Hyperscape, and more.
Now to warm up, we have 30 minutes of this from the games you're already playing, like Ghost Recon Breakpoint, Trials Rising.
Coś mi się popsuło, bo mi tła nie czyta. Okej, już jest. To jest czarna. Kurde, i tak będę musiał całą powtórkę obejrzeć tego wydarzenia, bo oglądam na troszeczkę kiepskiej kopii. To jest ten minusik, że będę musiał sobie powtórzyć w 4K całą prezentację. Chociaż nie, słuchajcie, mogę. Ja przecież mogę sobie teraz zostawić tak ten. Dobra, ja sobie poradzę. Będę miał na full wypasie. Już wiem, co zrobię. Chcę tylko czat na żywo sobie na telefonie odpalić. Możecie coś napisać, żebym widział, że telefon pokazuje mi czat? Bo ostatnio to mi się zawiesiło. Okej, działa, super. Czyli czat widzę. No, a YouTube'a sobie odpaliłem Dobra, już wiem, że wszystko działa. A YouTube'a sobie odpaliłem na telewizorze. Co prawda nie widzę całego mojego studia, bo niestety musiałem go wyłączyć, ale mam podgląd, więc wiem, że wszystko jest ok. Dobra, ja się zamykam, słuchamy co gadają.
We're working on the Curious Expedition 2, which is the sequel to our expedition simulation game. This time, the game is set in Paris in 1899 during the World Expo when the Eiffel Tower was built. But more importantly, you will be traveling to these mysterious islands. You will be interacting with unknown tribes, fight dangerous beasts, find many secrets. Thanks to our procedure technology, every time you play, it's a new world, new characters, and a new storyline that you shape with each of your interactions until it becomes really your own unique adventure.
And we will have more indie guests coming up later in the pre-show, so stick around. Now, a while ago, Ubisoft released its very first live-action TV show on Apple TV+, and it's a comedy about making video games called
Ale co kiepsko coś?
And to keep the show authentic, Ubisoft's Red Storm studio went above and beyond by creating a playable sandbox for the game that is actually featured in the show. So now let's head behind the scenes for an exclusive look.
Okay. It's very Clancy-esque. Yes. I get it. All right. Now I'm starting to understand. I too keep all my awards at the front of my office. It's entirely empty.
So Mythic Quest is Ubisoft's first live-action comedy. The whole show is about a team that is developing a super successful MMORPG, and it's about all the people within the game development team and their relationships and what they go through in creating one of the world's most successful games.
Dobra, sorry, kurde, bo to mam ściszone. Już robię głośniej.
We're finished. When we heard about what was going on,
Lepiej?
we weren't really sure if we were a great fit because we've always made shooters realistic. And we listened to the pitch and we were super excited about the idea. So we thought, all right, what does Ubisoft have that we could channel to fit this?
You're fucking me.
Yes.
You're fucking me.
But I'm not enjoying it. It's for the game.
When we started on the project, I think we imagined we would just make
Jakby
videos
trzeba było
on
zrobić głośniej, to
screens in the
mówcie.
background or
Znaczy
something,
piszcie.
so it would feel like a real game studio. But once we saw the script, once we started collaborating with the team, we realized, oh, they want a game, like an actual game. Of course, making an actual game would take years, so we started selecting the pieces that they really
Okay,
needed for
super.
certain scenes. And from there, it was not long before we said, what if we make this actually playable? What if we make it so you can connect a controller and control the characters? And so that's what we ended up doing.
The thing that I love most is the shovel. Exploding people's heads with this thing is straight fire. Crunch, man.
Kurde, jestem ciekawy, kiedy oni pokażą, kurde, dwie najważniejsze gry, które mnie interesują.
Viral disease in which people bleed out of their eyeballs first, then they bleed out of their anus, and they vomit and bleed out of their anus at the same time.
We set it up in such a way that you could trigger it in stages because we didn't know what the timing was going to be. The idea here is we can hit it and control the timing of when things are happening. So the next time you hit it, he starts puking out blood. And at this point, we would probably have the camera start panning back like this. And then you can hit the button again and you can see the blood ocean itself has started coming in. And so now they're all bleeding out of the back end as well. And then the final is just everybody exploding in bloody gore. And then this was Keith's idea. He wanted the skulls coming up and bobbing up and down in the water, so.
David, can we actually make this quick? I've got a lot of work to do stripping Blood Ocean out of everything.
Yeah. Releasing a disease into the game right before a global pandemic was not a great look.
Today was the first time we showed Mythic Quest Raven's Banquet to an audience. I've never seen it with more than 6 or 7 people in a room.
Wiecie,
And
kurde,
so
bo
I
ja
wanted
tutaj
to
mam
make
dosyć
sure
duże
that
opóźnienie
we
z tego,
gave
co
them an
widzę.
opportunity to hopefully
Próbuję
recognize
to
that
poprawić.
this is a giant love letter to them, to the industry itself.
I was a little nervous, I gotta be honest. I thought it was gonna be a little cringy, but it was fantastic.
I thought there was a lot of truth and in the humor.
It's about time that we had a show about our industry.
You could tell when the audience was laughing, when they really hit something that felt like the game industry.
I think it's brilliant.
All right, so if you have not yet seen it, the first season of Mythic Quest Raven's Banquet is available right now on Apple TV Plus, and a full version of this making of will be coming out over the next few days. All right, now it is time to fasten your seatbelts and start your engines as we head out to Lyon, France to visit our team at Ubisoft Ivory Tower to get an update on The Crew 2.
Hi everyone, and welcome to The Crew 2 at Ubisoft Forward. My name's James Reese, I'm a community developer here at Ivory Tower, and I'll be your host for this quick glimpse into all the exciting things we have going on over the next few weeks. It's been 2 years already since launch, with 6 major updates and hundreds of vehicles under our belt.
Ej, nie wiem czemu, ale Nightbot usunął mi...
Hollywood only went live a few days
Usunął
ago.
mi Hubert.
Let's have a look.
Kurde, on mi jeszcze pilnuje czatu. LOL. Hubert, przepraszam, nie wiedziałem. Będę musiał tam pogrzebać później. O lol. No.
We can't wait for you to get your hands on what's coming. There have been a few speed bumps along the way, but over the past 2 years, you, the community, have made The Crew 2 a motorsports playground where all players are welcome and where anything is possible. So thank you to The Crew Social, Exchange, Discord, Reddit, and all of our players. We've got a little something for you in-game to show our appreciation. It's the 67 Volkswagen Beetle, so let's see what kind of Hollywood twist you can put on it.
Zobaczę, czy mogę to zmienić.
That's it from me. There'll be more news dropping over summer, so keep your eyes peeled. Starting with this.
Dali, kurde, to jeszcze kupę czasu, 18 minut.
In case you missed it, make sure to boot up the game right now to unlock the amazing 69 Volkswagen Beetle that was just shown in the video, and stay tuned in the near future for more info about Year 3 of The Crew 2. Our next video is from our second indie guest, Bossa Studios, who will be injecting a delirious dose of fun with Surgeon Simulator 2. Enjoy!
To co jest?
Hi, I'm Nate from Bossa Studios, and I'm a senior game designer
ciekawa gra
on
może być.
Surgeon Simulator 2. So at Bossa, we're always keen to share game development knowledge, and Ubisoft has been a fantastic partner in this. They deliver lectures on procedural content development and
O
player
ja,
science.
to może być dobre.
And in turn, we shared with them the ideation processes that we use to develop initial ideas into living, breathing games. Which brings me on to Surgeon Simulator 2. We've really doubled down on the physics-based pandemonium that the series is notorious for. And we've pretty much expanded on every other aspect of the game as well. So this time around, you're no longer just a floating hand confined to the operating table. You're actually a full first-person surgeon with an entire medical facility to explore. And in addition to the levels that you'll find in story mode, you'll now be able to create your own unique levels and experiences using Bossa Labs creation mode. So it's a really easy to use, intuitive set of tools that allows players to create either on their own or in online multiplayer with up to 3 friends. Everything players create can then be uploaded and shared with the community, and here surgery really is just the tip of the iceberg. During our closed alpha period, we've seen players create all sorts of amazing stuff, from bowling alleys to space stations, pirate ships to horror-themed escape rooms, and this is before the game is even released. So we absolutely cannot wait to see what players create when we launch the game this coming August. And in fact, if you pre-order Surgeon Simulator 2, you can receive exclusive closed beta access.
So So for those of you who are just joining us, you are watching the
Oglądając
pre-show
to,
and Ubisoft
pograłbym
Forward will
sobie w
start
tego.
once the countdown
Two Point
on your
Hospital.
screen reaches 0. And make sure you log into Uplay to unlock rewards as you watch the main event. But now, our next segment is about an Easter egg in The Division 2, so let's go behind the scenes with the devs from Ubisoft Massive Studio in Malmo, Sweden to find out more.
Running through collapsed buildings, climbing over fallen debris, and encountering makeshift living spaces is common for players of The Division 2. Within its post-pandemic environment, many players have spotted something a bit more unusual, which has left them asking,
The Division 2?
what's up with all of these rubber ducks?
So there's a thing in programming especially where you talk to a rubber duck, and it's a way to solve your problems. If you talk to a rubber duck and you just say things out loud, it helps. One of our artists decided to take this to another level, and he used the rubber duck scaled up to like a ginormous scale and put it in the level just to remind him to do something. And it sat there for a while, and the rest of us kind of really loved this giant rubber duck sitting there for so long. We decided to put a little memorials to it across the world. What started off as little memorials, and then we started adding stories to them. So there's one where these two ducks are sitting on a bench having a date together, and there's another one somewhere where he's sitting with an umbrella hiding from the rain. The idea of the ducks is similar to the rest of our storytelling, where we're trying to add some hope into the world. Because you're coming in as a Division agent to try and save what you can and rebuild, but you need to know there's something there to save. So having bits of happiness lets you know like it's still worth saving for these little happy moments.
One shrine in particular became a beloved fan favorite, showing up multiple times across YouTube and Reddit.
So, Karen, how was your day?
Well, Luke, it's been productive. So the origin story of productive, one of our level designers made an amazing pun one day, and we decided to make a graffiti out of it and put it in the game, and it became like a duck shrine, and players started finding it and wondering where it came from.
We've been finding these rubber duckies all over the map. It says here on the wall in graffiti, productive, and there's a large rubber ducky, bigger than all the other ones we've found, and he's got bottles of booze all around him. Not only that, but he has a couple soldier duckies guarding a parrot in a cage. But there's more just like this in The Division 2.
What's really great about our community is they come together. They find a common thing that they want to develop or find or get unlocked, and they just put time and effort into it.
We don't put them in easy to find places. So that means players are genuinely, hopefully enjoying just exploring the environment and finding all these little Easter eggs we've hidden around. And also not the Easter eggs, just the main part of the game and all the storytelling we put into it.
Mi kurde, mikrofon rejestruje dźwięk.
I don't know exactly how many there are, but they haven't found all of the ducks yet.
Encouraged by the community's response to the ducks, developers recently hid another secret in the game and made it the focal point of an all-new community challenge.
We actually put Tommy the Teddy Bear into the game. So Tommy the Teddy Bear is a trauma teddy mentioned in a lot of lore, but the bear itself actually was not in the game. With episode 3, we put a bunch of them into the world, actually opened up an Easter egg hunt for him specifically.
It's a nice little exciting moment when you kind of open Reddit and you see someone's found the thing that you kind of just snuck in under the radar and no one really knows about it. And some of the players are really clever. There's some hard Easter eggs that some of the level designers and gameplay designers have put in, and people have managed to solve it with no help whatsoever. Gamers are smart.
So now that you know, be on the lookout for both the ducks and teddy bears next time you boot up The Division 2. We now have our final indie guest, Thunder Lotus Games, who were the 2017 winner of the indie series that took place in Montreal. So let's find out more about the beautiful coziness of Spiritfarer in this next video.
Hey everybody, I'm Rodrigue, marketeer at Thunder Lotus. We're an indie studio based out of Montreal, Canada, and makers of the games Jotun, Sundered, and our new game Spiritfarer, which is due out later this year. For the past 6 years, we've tried to make AAA quality games with a hand-drawn indie heart. Hitting a quality standard consistently in game dev is a huge challenge. There's so much trial and error on the path, and during the Sundered production, we were lucky enough to have the Ubisoft Entrepreneurs program in our corner to help us reach our goals. As co-winners of the Ubisoft Indie Series in 2017, we received not only generous funding, but also crucial mentorship and access to the Ubisoft testing facilities. So we're grateful to Ubisoft for their support and help helping us make what would become our biggest success to date. We've taken that experience with us onto what is our most ambitious production yet, and that's Spiritfarer, which we're calling a cozy management game about dying. In Spiritfarer, you play Stella, the newly appointed ferry master to the deceased. And as Stella, you're going to build a boat, you're going to explore the world in search of spirit passengers seeking passage to the afterlife. You're going to spend relaxing quality time with them, you're going to create lasting memories, but ultimately, you're going to have to learn how to say goodbye to your cherished friends. It's a game that's near and dear to our hearts, and it's something really special. We can't wait to share it with the world later this year. So look for it soon on PC, on Xbox One, PS4, Nintendo Switch, and Xbox Game Pass. Thanks a lot, and cheers.
It is time for an update on our favorite motorcycle platformer with the insanity, pain, and triumph we all know and we all love. Trials Rising came out last year, but I think the team from our Red Link studio in Helsinki has a little surprise coming to the game for the fans of the franchise. So let's take a look.
Hi, we're here today to introduce you to an exciting new endurance challenge coming to Trials Rising. But to make sure that we respect social distancing guidelines, Auntie and I decided to...
Do I fire the goose now?
What? Fire the goose?
Fire! Okay!
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Gigatrack.
Do końca eventu robimy. Znaczy jak skończą pokazywać gry, to... Jak to brzmi? jak dużo czasu ci pozwoliła masakra. Nie, robimy całe wydarzenie ze spokojem.
Yeah, I was just... Maybe you want to tell them.
The Gigatrack is like life. It starts and it ends and it's long. Depends how you enjoy it. And also one secret thing. 4 tells transfer to 1.
Wczorajsze nagranie przeżyło. Mam zablokowane, ale tylko w niektórych krajach. Nie wiem, czy w Polsce możecie oglądać, bo ja go mogę odpalić.
You heard that right, riders. Gigatrack will be available for free to all Trials Rising players when it releases this Thursday.
O, miłego horrorku.
You heard that right, the Gigatrack is coming to the game and it
Tylko
will be the
pieluchę
longest,
zmień.
most insane track in
Pieluchę
Trials
zmień,
history,
Hubert.
and it will be free for all Trials Rising players. Now for our last game update, the Ghost Recon Breakpoint team is ready to share some details on their upcoming updates. AI teammates are coming to the game. Let's have a look at the trailer.
O,
The time has come.
Ghost Recon.
AI teammates are back in Ghost Recon Breakpoint. And for all solo players, they're gonna be a game changer. Available at any point after you have reached Erewhon for the first time, Fury, Fixit, and Vasily can be activated or dismissed at will. And from the beginning, you will be able to fully customize them. This customization includes all of the physical attributes,
Wiesz,
as
przy
well
horrorach
as
to
gear,
różnie bywa, nie?
equipment, or even full costumes. Your teammates can be tweaked just as much as your main character. Just like Nomad, your teammates will adapt and react to the world of Aroa and its environments, and they will always follow your own behavior. If you decide to go stealth, they will equip silencers and crouch.
Spoko, jak Tajwan sprawdzisz, to napisz pod filmem. To przynajmniej będę wiedział, że możecie, że jest aktywny w Polsce, nie?
When deployed, you can issue different orders to your teammates through the order wheel. There are 4 different orders you can give to your teammates. You can tell them to regroup on your location, to hold their current position, to go to a specific location, and to open fire on nearby enemies. These orders can be given at any time, even through your binoculars and drone. Once they approach potential threats, the teammates will notify you and mark them automatically.
Got a hostile.
With a good look at your enemies, you will be able to set up a sync shot where each of your teammates picks a target. You can even link it to your 3 sync shot drones for a simultaneous 7-target takedown. The teammates have weapons equipped at all times, a versatile assault rifle to accommodate all situations, and a primary weapon that you will be able to fine-tune. Indeed, apart from mark upgrades and passive bonuses, the full gunsmith is accessible to your teammates, and their weapon of choice will have a direct effect on the battleground. Depending on the type of weapon they have equipped, the teammates will adapt their engagement distance and rate of fire, from close-distance shotgun wielding all the way to long-distance sniper shots. Of course, if you get taken down, your teammates' priority will be to try and rescue you. To achieve that, they will first focus their fire on the surrounding enemies before getting to you. And they will expect the same from you, especially as you will be able to
Fajnie, nie
carry
będziesz
them
musiał biegać sam w
safely
tej
if the
grze.
situation requires it. Finally, the teammates will also be your best allies in any vehicle, especially on the road and during high-stake
O,
pursuits.
no to super, to w Polsce
The
jest
teammates will
dostępne.
be available for all
To nie rozumiem,
solo
czemu mi
Ghost Recon
blokowali.
Breakpoint players on July 15th, and we cannot wait to see your reactions. We'll see you on the battlefield, Ghosts.
Hey Ghosts, I'm Grace from the Ghost Recon team. As you've just seen, the AI teammates are finally landing in Ghost Recon Breakpoint with our next major update on July 15th. Alongside the AI teammates, this update comes with a ton of new content, including a gunsmith upgrade, new PvP content, quality of life updates, and more. You will be able to try it all during our next free weekend from July 16th to July 20th. But that's not all, we've got one last thing to show you. Enjoy, and we'll see you on Aroa, Ghosts.
To anyone listening, this is
Jakiś
Haruhito
dodatek?
speaking for the outcasts. We stand against Sentinel's illegal occupation of Aroa. We call on all of Aroa to join us. Separated, Sentinel wins. But united, we cannot be defeated.
And now our very final video for this pre-show is another episode of our wow moments comparing the craziest and coolest clips from you, our players.
O ja, snowboard. Nie moje klimaty.
Anyone else want to try to do better than that?
Dobry koleś, nie? Pokazują akcje z różnych gier, tak?
I was gonna interrogate him. Oh, you can interrogate this guy though. Oh, okay.
Last stop standing.
Kurwa. Ale zaparkował.
So there's a line that people want me to yell. But I can't usually
została
do it
minuta.
because I'll freak out my neighbours.
Dali, zaczynajmy.
But as you can see, I'm at the Crash and Ocean Beach. and there's no one too close, so... Reloading! Fuck, someone told me. I gotta go.
O, jednak jesteś. Spoko, trzyma się ma z powrotem, Wiktor.
If you also have amazing gameplay segments you captured from our games, spread the joy and submit them on the link displayed on your screen right now. All right, guys, it is time for us to wrap up this pre-show.
Don't forget to stay tuned for our post-show featuring a deep dive into the world of Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Thanks a lot for watching this pre-show and enjoy Ubisoft Forward.
This is Ubisoft Forward.
Dobra, lecimy.
Meet the devs. See the games.
Join us.
Hi everyone, I'm Neelam Kumar and I'm very excited to be co-hosting the first Ubisoft Forward with the talented Yusuf Mageed. Today's show is all about getting up close and in-depth with all the exciting games we have in production here at Ubisoft.
I'm Yusuf, but there's no time to waste. So let's head straight for the streets of futuristic London and see what the hackers of DedSec are getting into.
The illegal paintings spreading subversive and hostile messaging over the last few weeks across London are not the work of several people as was originally believed, but the work of an individual.
Ale chyba nie ma tego Tajwana.
Links with the terrorist group DedSec.
Watch Dogs.
Authorities recommend not to approach
O,
the individual.
to na pewno się Czarnej spodoba.
First, they came for the foreigners.
W dwójkę grała
Did not speak out.
i bardzo jej
Not
się
a
podobała.
foreigner. Then they came for the protesters. And I did not speak out. Because I was not a protester.
Ale akcja.
Then they came for the journalists. And I did not speak out. Because I was not a journalist. And then they came for street artists. But I did not speak out. Because I am not a street artist.
Dziewczyny ci na chatę przyjechały? Powiem tak, żeby Czarna nie słyszała, zazdroszczyć. Nic nie leci, więc jest okej.
And I realised that eventually they'd come for me, and there would be no one left to speak for me.
night, London is in chaos. The main arteries through the city are blocked. Hundreds of heavily armed Albion...
Well. Welcome to the Resistance.
O ja.
Here's a welcome gift for our new members.
Kurde, ale gameplay jak to zobaczyć? Ja wie tam jakiś film.
Could have told me it was a bloody costume party.
Try it on.
The new key suspect has been identified as David Ford, a 43-year-old London taxi driver. He has no criminal record, but is currently believed to be a terrorist. People have been asked not to approach him. The authorities advise all residents...
I'm Clint Hawking.
Clint has been a longtime creative force here at Ubisoft, and now he's bringing this vision to Watch Dogs Legion.
So yeah, what we just saw was an amazing short film by the director Alberto Miłego that was inspired by Watch Dogs Legion and looks at the game and the universe and the characters through his incredible artistic vision and visual style.
The city needs a resistance.
Like the film, Watch Dogs Legion tells the story of ordinary heroes setting aside their differences in order to come together as a collective and to fight for a positive change. You can literally recruit and play anyone who you see in the open world. You profile people that are interesting to you, you help them with their problem, you play their origin mission.
Just help me get some closure and I'll do whatever you want.
Sounds like a DedSec problem. Leave it to us.
And that's how you recruit them into your team. And then they become the heroes of the game and the stars of your story.
And what are you doing in my flat? You with Albion?
Please, think more underground.
You with Albion?
I'm tickled, but think more underground.
What, DedSec? Yeah, right, and I'm Che Guevara. You're done.
And they make the story not only, unique to them, but unique to you as the player and personal to you because they're, heroes that you've chosen and invested in. What would I say to fans? I guess I'd say, take care of yourselves, stay safe. Welcome to the Resistance.
Our London town, a modern metropolis, built on history and prosperity. Only took 12,000 years to build it up, and one night to tear it all down.
Oh my God. Listen up. Get all your units to move in and lock down the city.
With London under attack by a mysterious terrorist, the government turns to a private military company called Albion to keep everyone safe. What could possibly go wrong? Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Nigel Cass, CEO of Albion. He's kindly stepped up to establish order.
Understand this. I will not allow anyone, not even myself, to jeopardize this.
He will stop at nothing to permanently control the city.
London will be the first city in the world to be made truly safe.
Nigel's not the only opportunist who's taken a liking to this fair city. Meet Mary Kelly, head of the most powerful crime syndicate in London.
Be sure and spread the word.
She and her goons are using the dark web to sell everything from party pills to people.
This microchip is scary, I know, but I got to keep tracks on my merchandise, don't I?
You made me a slave.
You do not want to ruffle her feathers. With the city out on its arse, it now falls on you to build a resistance and take back London.
All right, everyone. Faces on, guns out.
Any of the brave Londoners you see walking the streets can be recruited into your team. Like him. Her. Or even her. Everyone could become your next secret weapon. In our first mission, we need to get some dirt on Nigel Cass, and that means breaking into Albion headquarters inside the Tower of London. All the hardy souls you see here are people we have recruited from the streets of London. They all have unique abilities, and you're free to tackle this mission with whoever you like.
To jest ciekawy pomysł z tym, że możemy werbować do swojej grupy praktycznie każdego w tej grze, nie? Każdy ma jakieś zdolności, to jest fajne.
builder can hack pretty much whatever. But as a construction worker, he has a particular set of tools that make him handy. He can even call his own cargo drone. Perfect for gate crashing, when you're not invited. And who needs a regular old gun when you have a bloody nail gun?
Come in, you soidoid shithole.
Jesus Christ, what is that thing? Perhaps we could approach this mission differently. If you'd rather keep your distance, we've got you covered. Amy is a drone expert.
What have we here?
A real tech connoisseur.
Hate spiders, but love this one.
What an adorable creepy crawler.
Here we are. Let's class the place up.
A drone expert does have the unique ability to summon their own drone. This little darling is fast and stealthy.
She aims, she fires, she hits.
I'm reading incoming drones.
She can also hack enemy drones, turning the tide in her favor. And if you are not into direct confrontation, there are more ways than one to get the job done. Recruiting an Albion officer like Brielle here might be challenging, but it'll get you inside restricted Albion areas.
Don't mind me, just doing recon for a bunch of insurgents.
However, do anything suspicious and she'll probably wind up with a bullet in the back of her head.
You've been approved for entry.
We're missing the human element here. I can get the Defense Minister on the line right now.
Well, if you feel you must. Criminals running our streets, illegals threatening our families, the police commissioner himself, assassinated by terrorists.
Well, that seems to be enough evidence. Next up, we're crashing Mary Kelly's organ farming operation and putting a stop to it.
That's good. The buyers
Siema, Bartek.
quality stuff.
And we need a hard nut for this.
Impairing our frontal lobe again, are we?
Bags, don't disturb me in my natural habitat.
Dzisiaj nie miałem czasu, niestety.
The man lives for his team.
That put another hair on my chest.
And doesn't mind getting his hands dirty. He does have a slight drinking problem, though. And he's passed out. We'll come back to him. You know what? Let's go with someone a bit more professional.
Na pewno. Dużo ludzi na niego będzie głosować. Bartek, nie szumi mi mikrofon czasami.
Some might even call him an artist. Here's the bastard responsible. Done and dusted.
Not bad if I do say so, innit?
Not everyone in London is a legendary assassin or a super spy.
Okej, spoko. Nie wiem czemu, ale mi wariuje na potencjometrze. No dobra. Jak nie przeszkadza, to jest okej.
So get out there, find the best recruits and build your resistance. It's time to take back London.
Plunging the player into a living,
Mafii?
breathing city Teaming with unique locales and characters
Legion?
has
Oj, nie
always
wiem.
been a central pillar of the Watch Dogs series.
So what goes into building those worlds? Here's Amanda Munt to tell us more.
My name's Amanda Munt. I'm a level artist on Watch Dogs Legion at Ubisoft Toronto. Being a level artist, I think, is the coolest job in video games because we do get the freedom to kind of like pick and choose what little details we want to depict. And we get ample opportunities to tell the stories that we want to tell in the spaces that we're assigned to. I have the capacity to hide things and, you know, like small little Easter eggs. In AC Unity, there was a boat somewhere in the world that was covered in cats. And then it happened again in Watch Dogs 2. And there may or may not be something in London that is a boat filled with cats in some capacity. So I was fortunate enough to go to E3 last year. Some of the people that I was showing our demo to were from London. So no matter where I dropped them in the city, they'd go, oh my God, this feels like Camden. This feels like Southwark. This feels like Westminster. When people are talking about some detail that I've put into the world and they're excited about it, like that feels so good as somebody who, you know, builds these worlds with care. I love it.
Jak chcesz kombinować ze streamingiem, to dobry pomysł. Tylko zakup sobie do komputera Avermedię, żebyś mógł przekazywać obraz z konsoli na komputer i z komputera na YouTube'a. Poczytaj sobie Avermedia.
Three, two, one, brawl!
Już chłopiec sam nie wie, co kupić. Dalej, niech pokazują tą Walhalę. Na pewno na końcu całego wydarzenia odpalą asasyna. Na bank.
And now, whether you need a Tom Clancy action fix on the go, or want to dive back into one of the most beloved fantasy franchises in gaming, we've got you covered.
Target is being held on the ground floor.
No to co? Wygląda trochę na Fortnite'a, nie?
Contact! Monk train is down. Request air support. Target northeast rooftop.
Roger. Inbound, danger close.
I need an EMP deployed now.
EMP imminent.
Wiktor chyba nie ma dobrego dnia dzisiaj.
Get back in your cell!
Take this.
Don't make me regret this.
Speaking of Tom Clancy, it's been 5 years since Rainbow Six Siege first launched, and the community has never been stronger. In celebration of this milestone, Ubisoft Montreal has put together a special video to thank all of the amazing players and developers that have helped Siege become the game it is today.
In December 2015, a small team released Rainbow Six Siege. A game built on a strong vision, creativity, competitiveness, and team play.
Pour le joueur, le 1er décembre, c'est un début, mais pour nous aussi. Il faut tout de suite s'engager et dire aux joueurs, ce jeu est installé, tu peux t'y installer aussi, et nous serons là.
That original vision was quickly adopted by our passionate community, propelling it to a whole new level.
I got it! This is such a special moment, and being at 1 year anniversary of Rainbow Six now, game being stronger than ever, more players today than we had in the past, it means
Nigdy w tą grę nie grałem, Rainbow Six Siege.
But we also had our share of challenges.
Health that touches upon subject like
No też,
matchmaking,
Wiktor, czekam.
connectivity. All those aspects are absolutely critical to the experience of
Mam
the
nadzieję, że czekanie będzie warte tego gameplayu,
Through it
który
all, we're
pokażą.
always driven by you, our community, and together we grow stronger.
There is no sequel plan, and we're here for the next 10 years, so expect more Rainbow Six in your life for quite some time.
Look at this.
Tous les succès, c'est vraiment le résultat de autant de nous que de vous. Ce jeu, il est autant le vôtre qu'il est le nôtre, nous, l'équipe de développement.
Now 60 million players strong, we're just getting started. From the devs that build the game, to the community that plays
Co,
it,
Wiktor, mam krzyczeć, tak?
thank you.
If you haven't tried it yet, dive into our new Operation Steel Wave update available now and take Ace and Malusi out for a spin.
A few days ago, we introduced y'all to a brand new multiplayer shooter. Now,
coś nowego.
it's time to venture into the hyperscape.
O, prezentuje się całkiem spoko.
A hack in a hyperscape. That's not supposed to be there. Let me get you all up to speed, okay? About 30 years ago, everything that we feared about our future started to come true. We made some good decisions. We made some bad decisions. Actually, we made a lot of bad decisions. So, here we are. 10 billion souls living in the crush of the megacities. But the people at Prisma changed everything. They gave everyone a way out. The hyperscape. In the hyperscape, the biggest draw by far is Crown Rush. This is where anyone can become someone. good at Crown Rush? It can change your life.
Wtedy mogliby pokazać tą gameplay tej gry, a nie takie trailery jakby.
Users disappearing from the real world. A darker secret
Zapowiada się
lies
fajnie
at the
nawet.
heart of Hyperscape. And we have to find it. Some of us are searching for a way up. Some of us for a way out. And for others, a new way altogether. That's what brings us to the edge of the future. To the Hyperscape.
I'm JC, Creative Director on Hyperscape.
JC's work on Far Cry Primal and multiple Prince of Persia titles has established him as a top creative here at Ubisoft.
For me, what's exciting is we started building it from scratch, seeing it grow, adding ideas is really cool.
Hello, contender. Welcome to the Hyperscape.
The game takes place in 2054. It's in a future where humanity has grown a little darker. One of the companies there, they are launching what's called the Hyperscape, which is a virtual world and the internet of the future. It's the place where everything converges. Within the virtual world, there is a battle royale that takes place in the virtual city of Neo Arcadia.
O, jest gameplay.
Then we also introduce a lot of new things. You get the opportunity to do parkour on the rooftops, to go into interiors where it's much more narrow, much more stressful. You get to go to the landmarks where there's more opportunities to get cool items, but also more players, so it's a risk-reward kind of deal. We introduce the notion of hacks, special abilities that you can pick up on the fly to adapt your tactics. With hacks, you can do things like teleport yourself, you can wrap yourself into a ball and bounce around the battlefield. So a lot of abilities that let you have fun, that are toys that you can play with. And finally, it's made as a spectacle, so all the viewers will be able to interact with the game on different levels through the Twitch extension. So every few minutes, there's going to be a vote, and viewers will be able to decide what effect they want to affect the whole battle. So things like changing the gravity, infinite ammo, or stuff like that. So players, while this happens, really have to adapt to all kinds of stuff that is happening. So for me, it's really exciting because right now, as we speak, we're launching the open beta, and so it's going to be available for free-to-play for all PC players worldwide. And I really want to thank all the players, all the streamers, and all the viewers who participated in tech test and who will participate in the open beta. Here's a short glimpse of what you can expect.
Watch and learn how it's done. Perfecto.
Showtime.
Mine. Let's show them what I'm made of. Go time.
No, da, wygra.
Watch closely. Here we go. この調子。
The digital world of the Hyperscape gave our artists and developers incredible freedom when it came to designing characters.
Production manager Ana Maria Musca is going to take us behind the scenes of character design.
My name is Ana Maria Musca. I'm the production manager for characters and weapons on Hyperscape. We have paid an exceptional amount of detail to our characters. We switch different outfits, different fashion statements, different tattoos, different materials until we see them as real individuals, as real people. So the second you pick a character, you see them in game, you understand what their motivations are and what drives them and what challenges them. This was the first lineup of characters. This is our default base, but even starting from the hair down, everything has been meticulously thought of. Would this person actually like this type of outfit? Would this person enjoy the type of tattoos that we're putting on them? Will they actually like to be in this body? Each season, we plan to produce new outfits for these characters. So we're hoping some of our players are gonna see the effort and maybe even correlate some of the accessories to what's gonna happen in the game.
Nie, ale ja o tym wspominałem, wiesz? Że GTA 5 będzie na nowej
As we move
generacji.
into the next generation of gaming, Ubisoft has been working closely with console makers to take advantage of all the extraordinary capabilities these new consoles will offer.
Now we have a special guest to tell us a little more.
Hey everyone, Phil Spencer from Xbox. With Watch Dogs Legion, Ubisoft is supporting smart delivery. So you will get the absolute best version of the game on any version of Xbox you're playing on. On Series X, you'll get to take advantage of the amazing work the team has done with DirectX ray tracing to create an absolutely immersive version of London like you've never seen before. Ubisoft has a unique ability to create immersive worlds, setting a new bar that continues to drive our industry forward. I'm a huge fan of Assassin's Creed. I love the time I've spent exploring the world in Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and I can't wait for you to see the gameplay from Assassin's Creed Valhalla that's coming up now.
All right, we know you've been waiting to hear more about this game since it was announced back in April. And now it's time for a deep dive into the world of Vikings.
No, dawajcie.
My name is Julien Laferrière, and I'm the producer of Assassin's Creed Valhalla. So a couple of weeks ago, we announced Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and the reaction from the fans was just amazing. The time
Wiktor,
period
jakbyś
of
zasnął,
Vikings is
zaczyna się.
really inspiring. When we did our research, we found that, they were not mindless barbarians. Vikings were actually farmers trying to find new lands for them to settle. And so they had really human motivations. So for us to have this opportunity to tell kind of the real story about Vikings and kind of separate ourselves from the myths and the folklore is really something that drove us to make this game. The team went to Norway and England to take the same roads that the Vikings did, to really experience what it meant to be a Viking at that time. And then leaving Norway, which is barren but majestic, and just coming by boat in England and see those rolling green hills full of sheep, full of life, is just this moment that most likely the Vikings felt as well. You need to see this land of opportunity. And this is exactly the feeling we
Na razie
want
tam
players to
opowiadają
experience in this game.
o tym, jak się będziemy czuli w ogóle.
It is a personal
grając.
adventure. It is the story of Eivor, a Viking
Tą
chieftain.
historię.
Eivor is either a male or a female. You decide when you start the game. They will have to leave Norway to settle in England because you just can't live in Norway anymore. There's too much political pressure, no resources available. Obviously, in England, it's full of Anglo-Saxons and other people, and they don't really want you there. So you will have to fight your way there to kind of build your own settlement and see your clan prosper. Vikings were brutal warriors.
Shields!
And the fact that they were mastering a lot of weapons coming from the medieval times really inspired us to kind of revamp the fight system, to leverage the brutality and the intensity of Viking combat.
A co, Trzaskowski wygrał?
Vikings
Że tak ten?
were not only fighting face to
Że
face,
tak mu jedziesz,
they were
Rafał?
masters of stealth and deception when needed. They used basically any sort
Czy
of
wygrał?
tactics
No
they
jeszcze
could use
nie
to
koniec,
win
ale...
the battle. So we want to portray the full range of combat that you can imagine coming from the Vikings. we are very happy to finally be able to show you the game we're all been working on. So please enjoy this deep dive into Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
In Assassin's Creed Valhalla, you will relive the epic saga of the Viking invasion of England. You play as Eivor, a
Oni
Viking
praktycznie
from
remis mieli.
Norway, who will lead his or her battle-hardened warriors across the North Sea to the British Isles.
Dobra, zaczyna się.
Eivor is driven by an ambitious goal to build a thriving Norse settlement in a hostile land.
For the good of our clan, it is time we go a Viking. Today we raid, that tomorrow we may build.
England is a dark age tangle of broken kingdoms and warring dynasties, a land of opportunity and riches. As you prowl England's rivers by longship, you may raid locations you spot from the shoreline. Ground your ship and blow your horn to lead your raiding crew into battle.
Ja, budynki będziesz mógł palić? Ej, jara się budynek tam. Coraz mocniej. Będziesz mógł podbijać wioski, niszczyć je. Ale królestwa, zajebiście. Całe królestwo możesz, całą wioskę możesz zjarać, zobaczcie to.
Battering down doors and stealing cargo too heavy for one set of arms. Whatever riches and resources you pillage may be used to develop your settlement, giving you access to useful services, better tools and new settlers.
Dopiero się zaczyna
At the
chętnie,
heart of your
kurde,
settlement
ale
is the Alliance map. It will serve as a record of the allies
już mi się podoba, że
and
będzie
a
można
guide for
wioski
future
niszczyć.
opportunities. The Viking Age was a time of warriors and legends. In Valhalla, you will find the largest variety of enemies ever assembled in an Assassin's Creed.
Jaki fajny ruch na tych plecach mu się przeturlał. Co ten koleś robił, widzieliście?
Offers a unique challenge. Some will coordinate with their allies for special attacks, while others will use nearby objects to their advantage, including the bodies of fallen
Kurwa,
warriors.
kozak będzie gra.
To face these attacks, you must find and exploit your opponent's weaknesses to gain the upper hand. Take the fight to your foes with a host of
Ale
brutal
wypas
new combat abilities.
było.
Snare them with a Viking harpoon. Pummel them with throwing axes. Incapacitate them with the new stun system to keep them at a distance. Or finish them off. Dual wield any two weapons you wish to unleash a deadly combination of attacks. Customize your fighting style as you see fit and become a legendary Viking warrior.
O, już mi się podoba.
All combinations of weapons are available to dual wield, including two shields.
Dwiema tarczami będzie można napieprzać. Jaki brutal!
Not all situations call for violence. In this new land, a Viking must find a way to adapt.
Chować się pod kapturem, no,
As
o
Eivor
tym
is not
słyszałem.
welcome in England, you may need to outsmart your enemies, avoiding unwanted attention in towns and bustling cities. Use Eivor's hood and cloak to blend with crowds, and slip
bardzo
past
warto,
watchful
Witam.
eyes, an unseen hunter among the people.
I tu już mamy więcej z asasyna. Będzie
From
można
capital
wtopić się w
cities
tłum.
and villages to the dense forests and
Eksploracja.
rolling hills of England, exploration is vital to keeping yourself sharp. You must feed off the land if you hope to endure. Hunt and forage to replenish your
Kurwa,
health
na
and
pewno
fortify
kupujemy i
your
gramy. Jaka bestia.
Search pagan temples and Roman ruins for new activities and
Z
challenges
Drogodyna?
to
Jakoś
strengthen
tak to się
yourself
nazywa.
and your settlement. The more you explore, the more of England's secrets you will reveal.
Ravens, shoot! No mercy!
But as you push deeper into England, the enemy will push back. In a series of climactic moments, Assassin's Creed Valhalla will feature massive assaults in which you will lead Eivor's army into battle against heavily guarded Saxon fortresses.
Today we will reclaim her. Today we fight for your land. And tomorrow we rebuild.
For East Anglia.
Assassin's Creed Valhalla will transport you to wondrous and haunted lands, inspired by Norse myths
No, to jest ta walka
and
z
England's
bossem.
pagan roots. It will challenge and surprise, with unforgettable characters, thrilling triumphs, and tragic losses, giving you the chance to live your own Viking saga.
Ale to było fajne, jakby tak pokazywali wykończenia, jak te ostrze wchodzi w ciało i niszczy tam wszystko. Fajne, to było git. Ale z możliwością wyłączenia tego w opcjach, nie? Mamy datę
Ninth
premiery.
century England is truly unlike anything the franchise has seen before.
17.
Assassin's Creed Valhalla will release this holiday season on Xbox Series X, PlayStation 5, Xbox One, PS4, PC, and Stadia.
Na PS5, kurde, to będzie grafa.
We're close to wrapping up today, but before we go, our CEO, Yves Guillemot, is here to share a few words.
I hope you will have enjoyed what you have seen today and that you will love playing these games. I'm proud of our teams for delivering an ambitious, broad and creative lineup of
No, mi
games.
też, mówiłem, że będzie
And we
brutalne.
haven't shown you everything yet. In fact, we have a
I dużo
lot
dodali
more
takich
to come.
fajnych
So
rzeczy.
you will have another Ubisoft Forward
Ciekawe, jak się będzie
to
ten
reveal
asasyn
even
zachowywał,
more
nie?
about
W tej
our
grze.
upcoming
Ta
games.
opcja asasyna.
But before ending this show, we have one more thing to share with you.
No, co macie jeszcze? Pokażcie. No, kurde, wrażenie zrobiły te rzeczy, które pokazali. A to co? Jakiś kurde inny chór? Kurde, będzie trzeba... Pewnie znowu kupię tą Gold Edition, żeby mieć wszystkie dodatki, które wyjdą. Trochę dodatków mnie czeka. Konsola. Do tego no, obowiązkowo będzie trzeba kupić tego Valhalla. A, dobra, już wiem. Far Cry 6 pokazują. Ej, na mnie olbrzymie wrażenie zrobiło to, że można wioski palić. Świetna sprawa. Wreszcie mamy jakiś wpływ na otoczenie większe, nie? Nie, małej nie było. Raczej ona wskoczyła, ale... Ale fajnie, fajnie. Walki... Bardzo kozacka była ta szarża, nie? Przez drzwi, jedne, drugie. Kolesia przypieprzył. Fajnie to wyglądało. O, ale palenie wiosek to mi się oj bardzo podoba. Jestem ciekawy, jak będą zgliszcza wyglądały po tym.
It's beautiful, Miłego. Perfect, but useless.
To będziemy tym kolesiem grać? Far Cry 5? Raczej 6?
Papa. Now, the grenade is simple. It has 4 basic parts.
Tak.
The shell, which contains the explosive, the fuse.
No wiesz, jakby nie było, no, wikingowie, że tak powiem, no nie pieprzyli się w tańcu, nie? Z wrogami. To nie jak napadali, to nawet, nie wiem, w tych Wikingach była fajna akcja, jak mieli mszę w kościele, wszyscy z wioski w kościele pochowani, tak, a oni wlecieli, kurde, i porobili po prostu Saigon.
Now.
Na pewno dużo z serialu zaciągną do tego, na bank.
Which means that someday you will be a president.
Ja tu myślę, że tu ci Tajwan bardziej... chociaż może. Myślałem, że bardziej wyszedł z pytaniem. Tu już była, ale... Czarna, napisz coś. Się pytają o ciebie. Tak?
They will hate you, Diego. Everything you say, do, believe,
jeszcze raz.
Will be wrong.
Czarna mówi do mnie, że ja jestem tu numerem 1 i ona nie będzie wchodziła, żeby mnie zakłócać. W porządku.
They will answer you with screams. Call you evil. A monster. And give you this. So you tell me, are you evil? Are you a monster?
No tam w Tushimie będzie można w ogóle tam je zmieniać, koloryzować sobie, nie? Za pomocą jakichś tam kwiatków. Jestem też ciekawy samego gameplayu, no. Zobaczymy. 17 zamykacie się w chatach i gracie, nie? Ja tu dopiero po urlopie to odpalę. Najprawdopodobniej. Ale to wy wtedy przejdziecie i będziecie mogli wchodzić do mnie i przeżywać ze mną jeszcze raz tą grę. Więc będzie... Git będzie. Nie będę wam żadnych spoilerów przynajmniej oferował. W lutym 2001. O, to jeszcze trochę poczekamy na tego Far Cry'a. Oby nie był taki jak piątka, nie? Bo piątka podobno była tak słaba. Zresztą bardzo szybko była bardzo tanio sprzedawana, nie? Po premierze. No dobra, jak na razie największe wrażenie, no jednak ten Assassin zrobił. A znowu jakieś 300 godzin grania. A czarna tam, jak dla mnie bomba.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Ubisoft Forward post show.
Jak ty będziesz trzeźwy? Nie możesz być trzeźwy grając w Asasyna Wikingami, no kurwa, oni cały czas chlali.
Hey everyone, this is Philippe Bergeron, otherwise known as Fizz. I am the quest director on Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Słuchaj Tajwana, Robert, a szkoda, że mama chociaż na chwilę się nie pojawi, bo bym jej kupił czekoladę. Jakby się pojawiła, ale przekupstwo. Stary. Za czekoladę kobietę prosić, żeby się pokazała.
So these are big moments that usually sort of culminate at the end of the story. And so here Avar, our Viking raider, is taking a group of raiders and Fyrds into Bird Castle to go and take down
ale tej
and his clan.
Można te umocnienia rozwalać. Dalej Valhalla pokazuje.
Basically, Rued comes into play about halfway through this story arc, where at the beginning of the arc, this is something that happens before, Rued basically caused a lot of turmoil within the territory, and Oswald...
Te wojny takie już są nie, że na polu, tylko są do podbijania całe te królestwa, że tak powiem.
Oswald having just been defeated in a previous quest, and so here this is revenge, but also accomplishing your ultimate goal.
So Fizz, as you're talking, we're seeing some of the combat of Valhalla.
Rafał, to ja mam inny pomysł, to ty wpłać donate'a w sumie. Wpłać donate'a tak wysokiego, żebym ja mógł jej kupić Ferrari. I będzie okej. I żeby na Valhalla zostało. Będzie tak. A, Tajwan mówi, żebyś na czacie się pojawiła, nie na tym. Nie na kamerze.
Oswald, he lives. Oswald lives!
Eivor, is that you? Shut your ass, twig spine.
Here, Eivor has taken her entire army through the assault, and finally, it's revealed that our Elderman, our ally, Oswald, is still alive, and Rued has him captive.
This is what it comes to, Wolfkist?
6 osób jest.
2 Danes fighting over a filthy Saxon whoreson? If this swine
No,
is
gra będzie
surprised,
mega, kozak, na pewno.
come and get him.
Ja już mówię, kupuję przedpremierówkę.
So now that
Gold
we've
Edition
seen that
na bank.
Oswald is alive, we have Rued within
Wszystkie
our sights.
dodatki
What's the
znowu.
next step here?
So the next move for Eivor is to finally face off against Rued. She has her allies, they can take care of the rest of the army. Now it's time to go one-on-one against Rued in one of our boss battles, actually.
Ale tak gameplayowo tutaj widać, że jest dużo zachowane z tych poprzednich części, nie?
And it's worth
Ruchy,
pointing out actually
unik.
that here what we're showing is the player going and
Jedyne
facing
co
off
dodali
against
to
Rued
stamina.
aggressively, but we tend to always have to support a 360-degree approach in these things. So the player could have approached this a little bit more stealthily and gotten at least like a good critical hit on either Rued or his wolf, and so you can play this a little bit more strategically if that's your playstyle.
So
No na
not only
pewno.
playing Rued here, but also his pet wolf, right?
Już tutaj jeszcze będzie można
One of my
wioski
preferred
budować, nie? Z
strategies is
tego
to
co
eliminate
kojarzę.
the wolf first, just focus fire on him. It takes at least
I
one
mógł
opponent
własne
out of
osady.
the combat. Now Rued will have
Przynajmniej tak słyszałem.
extra abilities that come into play if you do eliminate his wolf, but I think having one opponent less in the battlefield makes for a good strategy.
Kurwa, ludziska, będziemy napierdalać w tą grę po prostu. Szkoda, że będę musiał pracować. Co na miesiąc przerwę zrobił od życiorysu. Czarna, nie ma tak dobrze.
Valhalla is my destiny. That fate will not be met today. Why does they should be roomed, wolf-kissed? Made thralls, not treated as equals. We are better than this, than all of them.
Do not drag me down to the sewage you wallow in.
We just had Dane fight tooth and nail for a sanction. You throw in with these wastrels, these arrogant swine?
Eivor, no! He should be tried before God, a lawful assembly.
Alright, so we've defeated Rued, we freed Oswald. What comes next?
Oswald, in this case, prefers for Rued to be kept alive, and so you basically have to choose: are you going to go against his wishes or stay true to your nature?
So we have this choice to make, but before we get into that, I want to rewind a little bit because we just did this big, grand assault, but Eivor couldn't have done it alone. She clearly had to recruit some folks along the way, get some troops, get some allies. So let's actually rewind and see how we went about first gathering those troops.
Right, so when coming up to an assault, it's a game of numbers. Eivor can go into pretty much any location and be a stealthy Viking, eliminating some of the assets, which ultimately would be a strategy. You can do that, and you'll have some
Ale będzie tutaj taki klimat trochę tego Wiedźmina, nie?
Sabotage, but you still need an army. So here what we're seeing is Eivor going around the countryside and raising what we call a fyrd, which is the men and the women of the territory who come up and fight in the name of a king. So here Eivor is going around and trying to convince people to fight in the name of Oswald to finally take down the oppressor that is Rued.
No, dzięki Wiktor. Widzimy się za 2 tygodnie.
What? Die in defense of a lost cause?
Yeah, so she's really using like the image and like the leadership that Oswald had, what he meant to the people. In his name, she's going to recruit these people.
Pretty words, Dane. But the men of Theovard have their own battles to fight.
So we're told by this Reeve that there are troops, there are allies that he could add to our cause. But
Praca nie
first we
zając
sort of
nie
need to do him
ucieknie.
a favor. Is that right?
Yeah, so obviously these people have been run down by Rued and the impact he's had on the territory. So I think a lot of these people have sort of lost hope. And so you need to show them that there is hope. And so here Eivor is basically helping them take back one of their prized locations by taking a couple men and raiding a nearby township, basically taking it back for the people and showing that there's a reason to continue fighting and then get them on your side.
Ale krwista jest masakrycznie ta gra. Mówiłem, że tak będzie. Na pewno będzie bardziej brutalna.
You have some brutal axe throwing in there. You have archery or like range combat abilities in there as well. So really, again, like depending on what your playstyle is, you can customize your loadout and go in there how you wish.
Będę pisał na fejsie. Na grupie. Spokojnie.
Fizz, we just saw this giant pulse go out. What exactly was that?
So that is what we call the Odin sight. The Odin sight is basically our interpretation of the eagle vision from previous games, and we thought it was good to sort of bring that back. It's basically Eivor's intuition. It's how she perceives the world. When the player uses that, it'll highlight basically interactive objects, like things that will bring her an advantage. So we'll have arrows, like health consumables that are in there. So it really is like a good way of sort of understanding the world and showing you like things that you can go and touch.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of things we can touch, we just picked up this awesome new weapon.
It's something we wanted to play with on Assassin's Creed Valhalla, where we have
fewer
weapons in the game, but you can invest in them more, so they become your weapon. And so depending what
Ty też już okna można rozwalać.
playstyle is or your preferred
Jak
weapon
ty.
type, then you can go and choose I'm
The Last
gonna
of Us.
fight with this weapon and invest heavily into that.
Not only are we looting weapons, but we see something here called the Book of Knowledge. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
They unlock skills for the players. So here you can see the Valkyrie dive that has just been unlocked. We have these spread out throughout the world. So again, to promote exploration and discovery. As you travel through the world and you explore locations, you can find these books that will add abilities that you can go and invest in, put into your loadout, then go into the different locations or the different quests in the game and use those depending on what your
Ale fajnie
playstyle is.
wskakuje, nie? Troszeczkę zmienili animację wspinania
Now
się.
we've recaptured this village, we've secured more troops for our assault. Let's jump back now and
Bo
figure out what we want to do.
tutaj pokazują laskę. Jestem ciekawy, jak porusza się facet.
The rightful king of East Anglia has spared your life today, and so it will be.
Okej, Tajwan. Spoko. O, 2 tygodnie czasu. Dosyć dużo.
For anyone, Eivor, including you. Thank you.
Eivor decided to let him live. Ruud is really angry about that. Being a Norse Viking, being put to the death in battle is your road to Valhalla. So he was basically denied access to Valhalla in this situation. Obviously, all of these decisions come into play later on in the game, so we have very difficult decisions for the player to make. We didn't want to have easy decisions.
Yeah, you know, when I was playing, I decided to listen to Oswald and spare Ruud's life, but what exactly is the relationship like between Eivor and Oswald?
So the relationship between Eivor and Oswald is an alliance.
No zobaczę, może teraz Tajwan będę grał kobietą. Zastanowię się. Teraz czarnej powiem, żeby grała facetem, a ja będę grał kobietą.
And obviously if you want to set up a new
Nikt
settlement,
się nie
you
odzywa,
want
to
to
chyba
make sure
spoko.
that your neighbor is friendly. So here in East Anglia, Oswald is the man for the job, where putting him into a position of power would help her sort of secure her territory. So earlier on to the territory, Eivor comes in here, meets Oswald. The problems he had with Rued are sort of put to light, and going through the arc, you basically help him deal with Rued and aligning basically Danes with Saxons in one territory.
So, Fizz, we've completed the assault. We've gotten our hands dirty with some combat, taken down Rued. We have this big open region of East Anglia, so before we head off to Oswald's wedding, what do you say we head out, have some fun, and see what we can get into in the open world?
That sounds great.
Pokażcie mapę.
So we see a cat here with a speech bubble above it, and you best believe if you let me talk to a cat, I'm gonna talk to a cat.
Yeah, these are some of our some of my favorite moments actually in the game, where we put out a whole bunch of events throughout the territory. And it sort of rewards, again, exploration, going around. It's a chance for us also to sort of showcase a different side of Eivor. A lot of the quests sort of deal more with like politics and warfare, and this shows a slightly more human nature to her. So it permits us to explore that character a little bit more. And so here, basically, like you're trying to help a kid with his cat, and ultimately get that cat to sort of join your crew as a cat raider.
You just said cat raider way too casually. You're telling me I could have a cat Viking raider on my longship?
That's exactly what I'm telling you.
Oh my God, yes, I love it. Perfect.
So yeah, as you're riding around the rivers of England, you would see a cat basically walking around your longship, keeping your Viking raiders company.
You know, speaking of the Viking longship, we're seeing some of that gameplay here now. Can you talk a little bit about how that works and functions in Valhalla?
Yeah, so starting out on this project, I think the Viking longship is one of the biggest images that we all have when we think about Vikings in our game. And so Vikings had this awesome design for longship that had a very shallow hull, so it permitted them to go very far inland very quickly, and you could basically disembark Viking raiders like on pretty much any shore. We added that into the game where you can basically sail up to any location and then just decide to disembark with your guys and raid a location, loot all its treasure, get back in the ship, and then continue sailing down the river to your next opportunity.
So I know past Assassin's Creed games allowed for songs and things like that to be sung on ships. Will Valhalla have a similar version of that?
Yeah, so this is something we actually wanted the crew of your ship to become like your home away from home. So we added stories and songs into the ship. So basically, as the player is going around, you could decide to have your skald sort of sing a song for you as you row down the river. But you can also decide, depending on who the raiders are in your ship, to hear more about their life. So you can actually queue up stories, and they'll give you a little bit more background on who they are. So you get to know your sort of fighters as you're traveling around the world, which is a cool moment.
So here we're seeing a bit of a different view. What exactly are we looking at?
We had this on previous Assassins, where you would like ride on your horse and you could pull out, have the horse sort of follow the track. We have a similar thing for the ship, where you can put up your sails. It's cruise control for the ship, so you can pull back, take in the scenery, listen to some songs or some stories, and just take it all in.
So, you know, speaking of Viking songs, we have an activity here that's not exactly singing, but kind of related, right?
Yeah, so here what we have is what we call flighting, which was an activity that Norse people would partake in. They would like to have a battle of wits and sort of poetry, where insults would be thrown back and forth between each other. The idea was to try and have a good insult, but also to have a good rhythm and a good rhyme in there. So
Czarna się już
it's basically a
położyła.
precursor to
Przysnęło jej się chyba, wiecie?
Here's the silver. Now begin.
Obejrzy sobie jutro pewnie powtórkę.
To all
Razem
those
ze
whom
mną.
I speak, they say Eivor's a clod.
Then you're speaking to fools and their knowledge is flawed.
Well,
How exactly do you go about being successful in one of these?
The trick behind a good flight was to choose the right insult, identifying the right cadence, and then trying to find what rhymed the best.
I'm known for my might.
interesting.
Interesting. Silent whispers all claim that you're terribly dense.
Then you've clearly misheard them. My wit is immense.
Oh, you looked out with that one. Well, what a surprise. Eivor of the Raven clan is a true talent. I'm shocked.
Don't believe everything you hear, unless it touches on my flighting. Then heed every word.
Take the coin.
So now that we've proven our sharp tongue and wit, I think it's time for a bit more relaxing activity. So we're fishing here.
Yeah, that's it. So we gave Eivor a fishing line, so you can actually throw out a line and go catch some fish. This is used basically to play into our new health loop, where the player will lose health in the world, and it doesn't automatically regenerate like we would have in the past.
czyli
So you
będziemy
actually
sobie
have to
tak
go out
uzupełniać
and
życie.
get some supplies. So you'll find
Czyli
mushrooms and some food that you can
Jedzenie
gather.
będzie trzeba
Here,
wykorzystywać do tego, żeby się
you
leczyć.
can also catch some fish and consume that to regain some health.
Spoko.
We also will sometimes have it in certain quests, so it's a good way to sort of chill out on the side of the water and just again take it all in. So this is what we call one of our offering altars. So the idea is that you find these around the world and you make offerings to it. So it'll take like animal parts and stuff that you can find throughout the world.
Co to da?
Here what you're seeing though is sort of like a fancy version of it, where as you do your offering you get interrupted by some kids that basically come and steal your stuff. So it's just a way for us to sort of showcase that like the systems and the activities in the world can sort of play in with some quests and some little events. So it's a way to sort of dress up these moments and make it all fit inside the whole experience.
Yeah, this seemed like a really sort of unexpected turn for what I thought was going to be kind of a simple interaction.
Yeah, and it's really what we were trying to do with these events is to give another
Jak
dimension
zablokowali
of
posty?
other than just, the pure rar Viking or the politician. Because you can imagine at some point that will grow old if you're always telling that version of the character. So it lets us really go into the depth of who is Eivor,
A co
what
zablokowali?
motivates her, how she can
Poprzedni
interact with
live,
the world outside
wczorajszy,
of warfare and politics.
został zablokowany w niektórych krajach po prostu.
And it also showcases like
Ale w Polsce można go obejrzeć, więc jest
facet
spoko.
of the world at the same time. It's not only Eivor, so it just widens the breadth of the stories that we can tell.
So who exactly are these two children?
These are kids of East Anglia. They are going through
Te
tough
ołtarze
times,
ofiarne, które tutaj są,
with whatever
to trochę
Rude's been
myślałem, że to
doing to
będzie
the
trochę bardziej
territory.
przypominało
And so they're just here trying to survive and
to z
basically
Wiedźmina.
exploit the people that
Dostawaliśmy tam
are there to make
jakąś tam
It was kind of nice to see that Eivor
dodatkową
wasn't really
wartość,
necessarily
nie, za
upset
to.
at them for stealing, and after you talk to them, you have
Wzmocnienie
the choice
jakiegoś
of
znaku czy
helping
coś.
them. You can give them food, give them some money, or maybe just say, "Hey, good luck, on your way."
Yeah, and then this is something we also wanted to do a lot. Like, so here we're doing an event, we do it in quests as well, but we want to give a lot of this agency into players' hands so that they can sort of shape Eivor a little bit, who she is, so it represents them a little bit more, and they can role play that a little bit better. And again, it just gives her like a little bit more humanity in these moments.
Large walkers should do. Provide for small walkers.
Here, large walker.
A necklace?
Yes, it's a St. Martin seal. You're welcome here anytime, large walker. You're one of us now. Visit us, okay?
I will. Take care now, small green walkers.
So I think AC veterans might recognize this here, but what exactly is Eivor chasing down?
Yeah, so here you're seeing Eivor running down one of our tattoo images. So this is challenging the player on free run abilities, but also for fans of the series, sort of pulling at their heartstrings for some beloved features.
To gonienie za kartkami już było w poprzednich częściach.
Yes, by
Będziemy
collecting
mogli
these tattoos,
tatuować
you actually bring
postać
them
fajnie.
back to your settlement, and then you can customize different body parts, having different tattoos everywhere. So again, another form of expression, and it's sort of to represent that Viking culture.
Fizz, one of my favorite things when I was just out there exploring East Anglia was coming upon a house or a building and realizing that there was a chest inside, but that there was no easy way in. And in this case, I saw all the doors were barred, but I knew that because there was a chest in there must have been some way to get inside. So I went around the back and, you know, found a way in.
Yeah, I'm glad you actually caught on to that. You're pointing at something that we wanted to work on a lot on Valhalla, where we wanted the exploration to make you feel smarter. So we played a lot with puzzle solving, so making sure that every house that you find sort of appeals to you, like it draws your attention, and then when you want to come and explore, it's not given to you. You still have to work for a little bit. So it'll challenge you on your observation skills, logic, just trying to find how do I get into this. So we play a lot with level design, quest design to offer challenges to players, and you basically come out of it like with a better feeling for the exploration, but you also get to see more of a story behind any of these locations, which we've crafted. So it gave us a little bit more time to sort of slow down the experience and tell a different version of a story.
Oj, nie mogę się doczekać, aż to odpalę w 4K na PlayStation 5.
A poor victim of someone's fury.
Yeah, I mean, speaking about exploration and just finding things out in the world, I was just wandering and came across this clearing and found this kind of morbid altar.
Yeah, so this is one of our bigger events that we have scattered in the world. So as Eivor explores, she can find altars like this, and by interacting with them, here it's a trap that's been set by this character named Regan. Now, there's a bigger story behind all this. There's multiple steps to it later on. So this is one of the moments. It permits us to go into a slightly more mystical realm and play with a boss fight that has more magical abilities, if we will. And basically have this awesome boss fight in the middle of the swamps. And so here the abilities that you see Reagan using are a little bit on the mystical side of things. What's happening is Eivor at the beginning in that trap is poisoned, and so she starts sort of hallucinating, seeing the world in a sort of different light and filter. And so that's sort of what lets us go into the realm of the weird.
My rage, spirit of my father's rage, fill me!
Naprawdę spoko się to prezentuje.
So we just saw here that Regan belongs to something called the Daughters of Lyria?
Yeah, that's correct. By finding the other daughters, you'll get a little bit more backstory on who they are, so we don't want to spoil that too much. But it creates like a sort of greater story that is not on the main path in any way, but it's still very rich and adds to the lore of this world and actually plays into history.
So we just had a really exciting, really intense boss battle. I think it's time for something a little bit more relaxing and calming now.
Yeah, it's all about pacing yourself with the highs and the lows. So here we have a low chill moment of what we call building a cairn. So Eivor, as she explores the world, will find these sort of meditative areas where you have a pile of rocks that you could just stack on top of another using physics. And I mean, yeah, the ultimate goal is to try and get the highest pile of rocks, but really it's about taking in the sights, relaxing, taking a step back, and building something.
Together we stack stones into cairns.
These?
Yes. Think of this as a test of mind and wit. Stack the cairn stones high and wide into any shape you like.
I mean, you can spend as much time as you want building these things, making them as high as you want, as weird as you want. I'm sure like a lot of these stuff will end up on the internet, like people comparing structures. And the cool thing is that once you've built it and you decide to get out of it, it sort of stays there. And so that's yours, right? And until the moment where you come back and you want to build a new one, it's sort of cool that we were able to give that to players to express themselves.
At this point in the demo, we've explored East Anglia, we've met some children, we've broken into a house, we've fought a boss, we've built a cairn. I think now it's finally time to go and head off to Oswald's wedding.
Yeah, so this is the moment it's all been building up to. By the moment you get into the territory, it's sort of like mentioned by Oswald that he's trying to get married with his Dane lady. And so as you go through the arc, that's sort of like the underlying thread. Really, it's about Rued creating turmoil in the territory and helping Oswald sort of get above that and show that he's a good leader. And so you finally, after going through all of that arc, finally get these two together, go through their wedding, and you're invited to attend the ceremony. And then all the activities and fun times that comes afterwards.
Yeah, as much as we've seen the brutal side of England, it's nice to see, the joyous side of it as well.
Yeah, and it's something we really wanted to play on in Valhalla, where being a Viking is not only about being a raider or a warrior. I mean, there's revelry, there's feasting, there's partying that goes, and like if someone knows how to party, it's a Viking. And so here, this is one of our opportunities to sort of show what a sort of Viking gathering is. And what's cool here is it's a good alliance of Norse culture with Saxon culture, sort of smashing those two things together and building bridges.
Yeah, I mean, what's a wedding without some drunk archery, right?
Yeah, so like anything can happen in a Viking event, right? Eivor, yeah, here, just get drunk, shoot some arrows.
Barely a challenge.
Steady all, and ready yourself for the wedding race. The king and his bride against all!
My king! He...
So here we see the decision I made to spare Rued came back to bite us.
Yep, that's the decision you made, coming back. So as we said before, all of your decisions have consequences, and this is a big one.
I challenge you. I accept.
You're basically presented with the option to sort of step in for Oswald, fight the fight for him, or let him go and fight his own fight.
Yeah, personally, I chose to fight myself because I thought Eivor is the type of person who likes to finish what she started.
Plank by plank, and a dead king cannot keep his oaths. Let me finish this.
Oswald, you gutless Irish swine! I'll slay the wolf-kissed, then hang you with your own tongue.
How does this encounter with Rued differ from our previous fight with him?
So at this point, you've eliminated his wolf, so it's just him. And so he's angry at this point, and so he will start using his big gun abilities like fairly earlier on in the fight. So it's way more vicious, way faster. There's less strategy. He goes literally swords blazing at you. And so this is a fight to the death.
O, na śmierć. Fajnie, nie?
And of course here, like, this is a decision you made to go and fight him, but there's multiple outcomes to this scenario. You could let Oswald fight his own fight and prove basically his station as the rightful leader. If you had eliminated Rued, obviously this would not have happened. It would have been a slightly more joyous occasion. But ultimately, in all scenarios, you still have an alliance with Oswald. He's proven to be the right leader for this territory and to be a good ally for you.
A great service. I promised you an alliance, and now you have it.
And one day I will need you to make good on that alliance.
So we're about to take off from the wedding, but Eivor decides it's a good idea to check up on her friend Finner.
Yeah, so Finner is probably one of the more recurring characters in this arc. You get to meet him very early on. He's a very endearing character, sort of used to have a Viking life, sort of misses it, and going through all these adventures together is sort of like lights that fire back, and so he's willing to join you in your raiders. So he's one of many raiders that you'll encounter in the game, and you can sort of recruit, bring back home, and then have them sort of join you on your adventures on Longship. He can tell you these stories that we're telling you about. You get to know a little bit more about him. So again, it's a fun way to sort of discover more about these characters that you meet and bring them along for adventures.
Together.
Together.
I'll gather my things.
Well, folks, we've come to the end of our Assassin's Creed Valhalla playthrough. Fizz, thank you so much for joining us. When and where can people play it?
Assassin's Creed Valhalla will be out on Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5, and is coming to Xbox One, PlayStation 4, PC, and Stadia on November 17th.
Okej. Mamy koniec prezentacji. No dobra, moi drodzy, to było na tyle. Powtórka z tego eventu będzie u mnie na kanale, więc tam możecie sobie obejrzeć. Ja się żegnam, życzę miłej nocki. Bye bye.
Thanks for joining us. My name is Eric Pope. I'm the senior community developer on Hyperscape.
And I'm Graham Jennings. I'm the senior producer on Hyperscape. Hyperscape's now in its open beta phase, so you